At the centre of Scotland's largest city lies its beating heart. Glasgow Central is the transport hub that connects communities near and far. But for months, lockdown has left the country and the station at a standstill. Now Central staff must take on the challenges of getting the whole nation moving.
This will be interesting.
Any problems we come across, we've got to solve ourselves.
This is what makes this place electric. Brilliant to work in.
They need to open up, welcome back the crowds.
Number 13, guys.
Have your tickets ready, guys?
And cope with everything that a packed station,
Very, very, very busy.
demanding passengers,
Guys, can you just put your mask on? Put your mask on for me, thank you.
and new challenges can throw at them.
We've found a problem with the high voltage cable.
That's going to have to be replaced.
This roller coaster just doesn't stop, does it?
Their mission? To keep the recovery on the rails.
I'm staying in Central, so I'm so happy.
A job well done.
And make sure everyone reaches their destination safely. For decades, Central Station's famous clock has hung proudly above the concourse. And generations of courting couples have met underneath.
I did have my first date with my wife under the main clock. So there you go, the main clock at Glasgow Central, under the clock, as they say.
With the station opening up again, romance is blossoming once more.
You know, a couple meeting under the clock, or friends meeting up, or somebody having a kiss and a cuddle. It's lovely to see things feel normal again.
Couples coming in and just cuddling under the clock and meeting each other at the clock. It's just, after what we've been through this year and a half, it's brilliant to see. It's absolutely fantastic. I'd always encourage it.
And today, there's definitely love in the air. Some of the station staff have caught wind that a very special event is planned for later in the day.
I've heard there's something happening, but I don't know what it is.
There's a wee event happening at 5:30, so people are being very secretive about it. I'll find out. Good at finding out stuff. Could it be a PM passing through the station? Since he's in Scotland, could it be him?
For some reason in my head, it's like the Harry Potter train. For some reason, that's the first thing my brain goes to.
Hope it's Liam Gallagher. Definitely hope it's Liam Gallagher. Maybe just clock off and get a beer.
Heather at the Mobility Centre knows a bit more than most.
I was up getting a wee bit of training on reception, and a lady walked in and said, right, that's me all set up for the proposal tomorrow. And I was like, what? What proposal? And then Shug was like, oh, you're not supposed to know that. I never asked anything else because I figure if I was supposed to know, they would have told me. So there's obviously some sort of proposal on today, and we don't know who. I don't know who. But no one else knows. I've not told anyone else. I assume it's under the clock. I assume.
For the first 2 years of their relationship, James came up from his home in the Wirral every weekend to visit his girlfriend, Hannah, in Glasgow. And they shared many joyful reunions and tearful goodbyes here under the clock. 6 years later and 4 months in the planning, the day has finally come for James to get down on one knee, and his family are in on the surprise.
James has arranged to propose to his girlfriend, Hannah. We brought the family up. James has been down to Manchester a few days, taking Hannah out of the scene, and they're due off the train at about 5:11, where he will then propose to her under the clock.
Both James and Hannah's families are here and will need to keep hidden away until he pops the question. But they've got a bird's eye view from Voco Grand Central Hotel's champagne bar.
James has spent ages planning it. He's got it down to the last item, and Hannah has absolutely no idea it's coming. We've been talking to her while she's away, and as far as she's concerned, she's coming up. She's going for dinner. She has no idea that we're all here, and she's going to be absolutely blown away.
The proposal truly is a whole family affair. Hannah's cousin Emma works in the jewellers that have made the specially designed ring.
Emma, Hannah's cousin, she's been in the subterfuge with the ring, and Lauren and I went down to the jewellers and pretended to try things on so we could get the right size for her. We're not notoriously good at keeping secrets in our family, so the fact we've kept this one quiet has made us all very, very proud.
James has been working with Central's staff to plot the perfect station proposal, complete with a very personal electronic message.
I just read the email saying that there's going to be a proposal under the clock.
Central's James is in charge of operating the station's customer information screen.
Hannah Jane Fairley, will you marry me? I've never done a proposal before, but I've done like birthday messages and things like that. I'm excited. I'm going to get the CCTV under the clock. You should get a clear view. We'll just put it up and hopefully she'll say yeah.
The marriage proposal isn't the only special event happening on the concourse today.
Marvellous to see this back. That is the flowers. Because, you see, during the summertime, you see the smell.
By a stroke of luck, Central's florist shop is reopening today, after 15 months closed.
It's very busy, a lot of footfall. It's just lovely chatting to people and the public, really. It's just a relief, because I've been working away for about 3 weeks trying to get things up and running, and it's just great to finally see all that work pay off.
One of florist Quay Tran's first tasks is to create a bespoke bouquet for James and Hannah.
So currently I'm making a bouquet for this couple who hopefully will be engaged after today. And yeah, just a lovely bouquet, kind of traditional colours, romantic colours, reds, obviously. We've got the Scottish thistle incorporated in, and I'll present them with it. For about a year now, no one's really been getting married. And I think it's great that, as we open and as the country opens, weddings and stuff can happen. And it's great to hear stories like this and to be part of it. And I'll slip in a few purple roses. We had these lovely open red lilies, romantic. And then purples and kind of hot pinks as obviously complementary colours. Yeah, trying to recreate romance in a bouquet. I just hope she says yes.
With 18 minutes to go before their train is due in, there's a hitch. Hannah's cousin Emma, who has the engagement ring, is stuck in traffic.
She's trying to get through the traffic and obviously parked up, and she's running here at the minute. She sounded stressed.
If she doesn't make it to the station before the train pulls in, James's carefully laid proposal plans could be thrown off track. The pandemic put many weddings on hold. One couple who'd already waited 12 months to take their vows had their venue cancelled just 3 weeks ago. So at the 11th hour, the hotel within the station has stepped in to host the reception and save their big day. As guest services manager, Kevin must make sure it all goes without a hitch.
We have a wedding in today that's been quite a quick turnaround for us. It's been about 3 weeks to sort of put it together from a hotel point of view.
It's been an almost impossibly tight schedule for the hotel team, who would usually spend months planning a wedding. But Kevin's determined to make everything perfect.
It's the little things, it's the finer details, so it's just coming through and checking that the wine glasses are polished, ready to go.
Bride Katie and groom Craig were due to get married in July 2020. But when their original wedding venue postponed for the 5th time, they called on a favour from the hotel. Cost consultant Craig has a professional connection to the hotel.
The groom actually has been working at the hotel during COVID through our renovations. So he's been here to get our rooms redone, to get us back and open and running again. So there's just a wee bit of extra pressure. He's done so much for us, so we need to try and pay that back.
Now, with very little time until the bride and groom arrive for their reception, Kevin spots some finishing touches that need his attention.
The skirt just needs to get another clip to just tie it round to make sure it's nice and taut. There's a little thing, but it's just trying to tighten it all up.
Craig, give me a kiss your bride.
Katie and Craig tied the knot on the banks of Loch Lomond this morning, but are due back with their wedding guests any minute.
Hello. They're not here yet. We've just been told they're going to be about 15 minutes late based on traffic.
Everything has to run like clockwork, and a 15-minute delay could have knock-on implications for Kevin's staff.
Front's clear. It's our first experience of the hotel, so making sure again, fluff bits of carpet are all clean and tidied up.
Finally, the guests begin to arrive, and it's all systems go to get them in their places and make up the delay before the happy couple are here.
How was it?
Oh, fabulous, and it never rained.
Good, thank God for that.
At last, Katie and Craig have made it to their wedding party. So how does it feel to have finally arrived at their big day?
A bit surreal, to be honest.
Surreal, it's...
Yeah, we were due to get married last July. Obviously got cancelled because of the pandemic.
It was cancelled 5 times, wasn't it?
Katie was upset.
I was constantly crying, wasn't I?
I think we were close to just saying, well, let's just get married and then we'll worry about a big party another time. Very fortunate to get basically a whole wedding planned within the last 2 weeks with a lot of help from the team.
While the newlyweds squeeze in some photos at the iconic station. The hotel staff are busy getting the guests in place. And with photos over, the married couple can join them for the reception.
To celebrate with 50 people, to actually enjoy a meal, it feels like a bit of normality again.
It's been a long wait, but now the bride and groom can get on with enjoying their evening and the rest of their married life. Traditionally, driving a train was seen as a male vocation. But in the 21st century, more and more women are taking up the role, with one young married couple leading the way. Amy qualified as a driver 3 months ago and is already doing the job. But Michelle had her driver training postponed by the pandemic. And while she waits to hear about her start dates, she is working as a train manager on the West Coast Main Line.
Catch you later.
Today, Amy's off to Edinburgh Waverley for her shift as a driver for LNER. And along with colleague Stephen, Michelle's one of 2 managers on the Avanti train to London.
Right train! Good start.
For today, Michelle's focused on managing the train, a role which puts her in direct contact with the driver and the passengers.
Walk up, just check everything's fine on the outside, no windows broken, no doors, everything's fine with the doors. We just walk back through the inside of the train just again to make sure everything's all right. All our reservations are downloaded here. Everything's where it's supposed to be, your safety information, your pass comms are all fine. Toilets are working, that's a big one. Come on in. Got our green flag we use for dispatch. Make sure you've got your keys. everything's by the second, totally.
Part of the job is getting any stragglers onto the train safely.
Good morning, I'd like to welcome passengers on board. This is your 836 Avanti West Coast service, route London Euston.
As train manager, Michelle has to know the route almost as well as the driver.
We do what's called a route learning, so we have 4 or 5 weeks of that after our initial training. If there's problems on the main route, we can divert round. We have to have an idea of where we are, especially if we break down.
Michelle's operational and route knowledge will serve her well when she starts her intensive driver training. And she's more than ready for the next challenge.
I'm excited to get going, hopefully. Hopefully sometime next year we get a course date and get on our course and get started, but I'm really looking forward to it. Probably what I'm most looking forward to as well, like learning how to operate this massive machine. It's scary when I'm sitting here and it's going, because you don't, like right now I don't think of the driver, I don't think, oh my god, he's up there driving the train, it just kind of goes out of your head. But yeah, when I'm actually sitting in that seat and probably go to power it up or something for the first time, I'll be like, oh.
At Edinburgh Waverley, Amy's already putting all her training into practice. Before she started, Amy had exactly the same fears as her wife Michelle.
Before I was driving, I used to think, oh my god, like, how can I be in charge of that sort of thing? But when you're in there and you're in your own little bubble and you're just doing what you've been trained to do, you just kind of forget about all that sort of stuff, because if you start thinking about it, then that's when you'll start panicking.
Today, Amy's task is to drive one of the LNER fleet to Craigentinny depot.
So I'm just setting the GSM up. This is for contacting the signaller if you need them for any reason. The brakes are all working together. Just check the emergency brake. And then once I've done that, that's me pretty much ready to depart, once I get the green signal and the RA to go. I think people sometimes just think train drivers are just pull a lever, but there's so much more to it. We're totally in control of that train. There's hundreds of speed restrictions and speed limits on the East Coast Main Line, and it's our job as drivers to make sure that we're abiding to those, braking in time for things, braking in time for stations. I remember just thinking, I am never ever going to remember all of this and know this route inside out, but in time you do get to know it.
Despite working on the railway for several years, it was only 2 years ago that Amy and Michelle set their hearts on becoming train drivers.
Did you know you were going to apply for a driver straight away when you joined, or
No, when I first joined, no, no. I never even entered my head. It's such a huge responsibility, so you have to like mentally prepare yourself for it. So I thought long and hard before I applied to do it.
Driving trains was soon a goal they were both determined to reach. Michelle got the trainee driver's job just a few months after her wife, and she's now desperate to know when she might start her training.
Now it's just a waiting game, yeah. Had a date for September that was cancelled because of COVID. Then it was pushed to November, and now it's been pushed to next year sometime. So I think it's all to do with the bubbles. They have to bubble up, so it's very much one-on-one.
Services manager David is also a keen driver in waiting, and he's trying to find out when they can restart their overdue training.
Any updates? No.
No, none. Gassed every day now.
So now it's like next year at some point?
At least you know it's coming though.
I know.
At least you know it's going to be there.
Yeah. So we'll maybe have a better idea round about November into December. Hopefully we'll hear.
Aye.
Fingers crossed.
Another year's nothing.
And it won't get cancelled this time.
No, don't say that. Don't say
that. As long as COVID doesn't hit again, I think we'll be all right.
With no clear indication of a start date, Michelle's dream of joining Amy in the driver's seat will have to wait. But Amy knows wife Michelle will make a good driver.
She's well organised, she's, you know, responsible, and she's really mature. I think she'll be right for the role. At the end of the day, she's done the hard work, she's got the job, and it's just a case of waiting now, and that's what we'll do. All good? Yeah? Yeah, you good? We'll get a coffee or something? Nope.
Back at Central, Amy's keen to hear if Michelle has any news.
So I met David on the train as well. He was my service manager on the way back up, so I was just asking him what the latest updates in the course and stuff were, but he hasn't heard anything yet, so...
All right. What, so it's still late next year?
Yeah, well, we're just waiting to get the, like, kind of final confirmation and stuff for a date. Hopefully we'll hear in the next few weeks or so. Can't wait to get my start date.
I know, me too.
I'm excited.
So you'll stop moaning.
Despite the disruption of the pandemic, Michelle does know her future's in train driving.
Then we can really compete, yeah. That's how we've worked through our whole career, so just compete with each other, yeah. So she got the driver's job, so I was like, oh, get the driver's job now. She can't outdo us. So yeah, but she got it first, so beat me to it. But I like to do everything second. That's how I roll. I done my driving test second. I got the train manager's job the second time, so the driver's job was kind of the second time as well. So yeah, I like a practice run everything through.
It's a test of patience for the married couple, but Michelle's not giving up. For almost 150 years, sleeper trains have transported passengers to destinations all over the British Isles. The longest-running services are those between England and Scotland, and Glasgow has hosted the overnight train since it first launched in 1873. Author David Mira has written a book on the history of the sleeper service and has been riding them since he was a boy. Tonight, he's travelling from London Euston to Glasgow Central to see if the newest sleeper trains can live up to his fond childhood memories.
My mother was born in the Orkney Islands, and we used to go up there for family holidays. And we always began our holiday by taking the sleeper up to Scotland. The sleeper we took was the Royal Highlander, which runs up to Inverness. I can well remember the carriage doors on the sleeper carriages would have a list so you could see which berth you were in. I can well remember there'd always be a Lord so-and-so, a Colonel so-and-so off to shoot on their grouse moor. But it was quite an eclectic mix of people. Some like that, very much in the old tradition, but some just like us going on holiday.
But will David get a comfier ride than he did as a boy?
These carriages here are really state-of-the-art.
Leaving Euston before midnight, this sleeper service takes under 8 hours to reach Glasgow overnight.
Wow. As you can see, it's pretty smart. There's a double bed.
The modern sleeper may offer double berths, but for David, the traditional bunk beds have never lost their allure.
I remember when I was first on the sleeper when I was only 12 years old. It was always great competition for who got the top bunk. It felt so special and exciting and great fun. Your own little castle on wheels.
David settling in for the evening, and there's a nightcap on the way.
Ah, good man, thank you.
But it's not quite as romantic as the old days.
In the early days of the sleeper, they didn't have restaurant cars. They had picnic baskets that were delivered with bottles of claret or beer in them. The golden age of the sleeper was the 20s and 30s. Sleeping cars were first class only, so they were aiming at the top of the market. And they wanted to make these as stylish and as luxurious as they possibly could. There's a picture here of a first-class sleeping car on the LNER, the London and North Eastern Railway, with the sleeping compartment and then a sort of little lounge compartment next door to it. And then to advertise those services, they produced these rather stylish posters. And you've got one here of the night Scott, a Gresley engine powering its way through the night. It's getting a wee bit late. I've got my nightcap, it'll make me sleep well, so I'll see you in the morning. Good night.
Travelling 400 miles at a maximum of 100 miles per hour, the Lowland Sleeper is non-stop until it pauses at Carlisle. But it's at Carstairs that the train splits in two, with the front 8 carriages heading to Glasgow.
How was your night? Very comfortable, very nice. I've not been in one of the double beds before, and they're really nice. Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoy. Yeah. All right, cheers.
A bit of brown sauce. And that'll be a good start to the day. When the line to Glasgow was first opened, trains ran from St Pancras in London into Glasgow St Enoch, but that's long gone, and now they run direct into Central Station. The beauty, I think, of rail travel as opposed to air travel is that you don't land up at an airport miles outside the city and then have a half-hour journey or more to fight your way into the centre. You land up right in the centre of the city.
It may be early in the morning, but David still gets excited pulling into Central.
You can come just running across the bridge. There's a sense of anticipation and excitement.
For David, the modern train more than measures up to the sleeper of his youth.
A lot more comfortable, a lot more facilities, but basically you're doing the same journey, travelling through the night and getting to your destination first thing in the morning, refreshed, hopefully, ready for a day's pleasure, a day's work, ready for the start of a new day.
"150 years ago, there was no guarantee of a good night's sleep aboard the sleeper. But these days, train wheels are proactively maintained before the treads can wear down much to give passengers the smoothest possible journey.
Obviously, all the trains have wheels, they'll wear, and they've got a profile. And once that profile is worn, it won't be a comfortable ride on that train. So when they get close to being out of specification, they come into a wheel lathe.
2 miles south of Central Station is the Shields Depot, where engineering manager Willie is overseeing the lathing of the wheels on one of the Mark V sleeper coaches.
These wheel sets have got tread damage on them. They've got what we call flats. Every time the wheel locks, it skids and you get a flat. So best way of describing that is new good wheel set, 10p piece. Wheel set with flats, 50p. Kind of sums it up. You can imagine if you were travelling on the sleeper to London tonight and it's small flats, you're not going to get much sleep. So that's why they're in here getting reprofiled.
All 12 wheels on this sleeper carriage need to be reprofiled before the deadline this afternoon, when the coach is being picked up to be reunited with the rest of the sleeper train.
I'm just down here to make sure that everything's going smoothly and that this will be leaving here around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Hi Scott, how's it going?
Not bad.
All right, so this is the 11th wheel out of 12?
Yeah.
OK, aye, right, crack on then. Okay. Cheers.
Today, engineer Scott is operating the state-of-the-art machinery that trims the wheels down.
Just lining this axle up where that axle is so we can get ready to cut. Coach, pay number. So that's the type of units it is, pay number, coach number and axle that we're cutting. Because there's sleepers, obviously any wee kind of flat on it will wake the passenger up, so we're just making them round again.
But the computerised process can't be rushed.
And they were lifting the wheels off the rails. So that's me got access to the wheels now. Telling me to clamp the unit, so I've got to switch the hydraulics off to get in.
The high-tech machinery does much of the work, but it's still a dirty and potentially dangerous job for Scott.
Shutting the gate now for safety purposes. So now we've got to do a pre-measure to measure the flange and the diameter of the wheel. So you'll get a wee measuring head come out. That's measuring the back-to-back.
The machine's clever laser technology has to calculate the lathing measurements with pinpoint accuracy before it can cut.
And this one will measure the diameter of the wheel. This cable, just above it, there's a laser, and it measures the start, so it knows when it's doing a full revolution. That's that measured the whole wheel now.
Finally, the machine can start lathing the wheels.
Now we get the sword.
Scott has to remove any fine wheel filings that could clog up the machine.
And that's it coming to the end of the tread, and it'll be starting to come down the flange. And you'll see like spirals coming off. And that's because it's coming at a different angle. So now that one's finished.
The Sleeper wheel is as shiny and smooth as new.
That's it, it's good to go. So we're going to go out now and couple up to the other unit.
That's all 12 wheels reprofiled on the 3 Sleeper coaches, and we're finished with it. It was arranged to be picked up between 3 o'clock and 10 to 4. It's been finished well within the target time.
The Sleeper coach is heading back out into service with its perfectly round wheels ready for the rails once more.
Oh, they'll be sleeping with a baby in there now.
Back at Central, it's a busy Friday afternoon on the station concourse. And something rather special is about to happen. Up in the hotel bar, excitement is mounting. Soon, James will step off the train from Manchester with his girlfriend, Hannah, and pop the biggest question of his life. 12 minutes before the couple are due under the clock, and ring bearer Emma still hasn't appeared.
Hi, Emma. Are you nearly here? OK, so we'll see you within 5 minutes. She's here. The ring has arrived.
Crisis averted.
Emma, how are you doing?
Hello, John. How are you? Hi, Auntie.
No
How are
panic.
you doing, Dana? At least you got here. Look at the ring.
It's
What ring?
Right, OK.
The ring has been handed to one of the staff on the concourse, ready to be subtly picked up by James when he arrives.
Oh, you're shaking.
It's 5:15 and James and Hannah's train has arrived. Now James just needs to steer Hannah into prime position underneath the clock. As the couple approach, there's just time for a quick interview about their romantic getaway. Hannah still has no idea, and James is trying to keep it cool.
James looks a wee bit edgy, doesn't he? He's rocking a bit in his feet there.
So tell me about where you guys have been then. Where have you been today?
We were down in Manchester for a few days, trying to get away for a bit.
Yeah, we've been working at home during the whole pandemic, so we thought it would be good to get away for, you know, just a week or so, just to try and get away from working at home.
Just out and about, a few meals, nice meals out. Went to the football museum. tried to drag Hannah in there.
I wasn't so keen, but you know, we make allowances.
Finally, the big moment has arrived.
Excellent, well that's all we need. Thanks very much.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Look at the information board up there. Can you see it above the clock?
No. What?
Hannah, will you marry me? Come here.
I love you.
Were you expecting that?
Looks like that's a yes then.
Hi, we got this for you as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And look, all your family members are up there.
6 years after they met, James and Hannah are engaged.
Give me a kiss.
Oh my goodness.
You let me down on one knee for a while.
I couldn't read it from here.
Time for the guests of honour to join the family for their engagement party upstairs.
Why could you not let me wear something nicer?
Congratulations. You've got yourself a catch.
Well done. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I wasn't expecting it at all, so it's a really nice surprise, but I'm still kind of in shock at it all.
I can't keep a secret either. And for 4 months now, I've had to keep it a secret from Hannah. And I think she had a slight inkling something was going on, but maybe not to this level.
Not at all. I didn't even have an idea that something like this was going to happen. Oh, he's done a good job. We'll give him that. When I first met James, he still lived down south and he used to commute up here every weekend. So I've cried in this station a lot of times, feeling that such sense of joy when he arrived and then that heartbreak when he left. So
Yeah, we've had many memories in the station, and I think it was a perfect setting, or I thought it was anyway, but I hope you think it was.
I do, yeah. It was the perfect place because it's just, I can't believe how many memories we've had here, and it's just something else to remember. So I'm such an ugly crier.
No, I always knew Hannah was the one for me. I think from day one when I moved up here, I knew that there was never a chance of it ending.
We just work, and I'm so glad that this is how it's ending out. Thanks so.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And years to years to think, they'll be saying to each other, we proposed in Glasgow Central Station. And the amount of times I've heard that happening throughout the years has been fantastic.
Since it was built in 1883, Central Station's historic hotel has also been a place where love blossoms. Not least between Jack Dice and Netta Bailey, who met when they both worked at the hotel just after the war. For their son and daughter, Jack and Eleanor, it's a place that still holds many fond memories.
It's funny being back. And I'll always remember this stair, though. It's always been grand to me.
Jack and Eleanor's grandfather began working in the hotel in the early 20th century. In 1933, he was joined by his son Jack, who loved it so much, he stayed for 50 years.
This is almost like a second family home to us. My mother worked here, her father worked here, grandfather. So there's a tradition that goes back 75 years, and for a long time we were accustomed to the corridors.
Yes, we were brought in to meet my dad because he only got a Friday off and a Sunday off, but sometimes they were just half days off, and he worked from 8 in the morning till 10 and then midnight sometimes. So when we were small, the only way we could actually meet him was to come into the hotel, and we were treated royally. We had ice cream in the kitchens and a pineapple juice at the back of the bar. And I do think it became a big family for him. So he had a family at home and a family here.
Yes. Some staff would not just work here, but live
Well,
here.
Mother lived in.
That's right.
She lived in top floor, and we know why she lived in because of the Blitz, because she lost her home in Clydebank. It was bombed.
In March 1941, Clydebank was targeted by the Luftwaffe. Netta was bombed out of her home and chose a job at the Central Hotel because it offered the accommodation she needed.
That's what brought her here, and that's how they met.
And when my mum worked here, she was a cashier. She lived on the top floor in Gordon Street in a little room. She was lucky because she got all her meals and a place to live.
Yes.
And she was what they called black staff. She wore a black uniform. That was like receptionist, cashier, that kind of uniform.
Yes.
And he was on the catering side. He started as a commie waiter, and then he moved into the bar work.
Netta didn't meet Jack until he returned to Glasgow and the Station Hotel after active service in the war.
Because she was in the black staff, as they called them, he thought she was too good for him, so he was so scared to ask her out because she was kind of top class, as he thought.
And she was a wee bit like that.
Yeah,
she always dressed well.
They courted, no doubt saw each other every day, and then they got married.
Yes, that's right, that's right. And she gave up work at that.
Yeah. You can see how much they're in love. Then you came along after that.
Yes.
Netta gave up work to raise their family, but Jack stayed at the Central Hotel for 4 more decades and became a comfortingly familiar face behind the hotel bar.
Our father always knew what drink anybody had. You know, if they'd appeared years ago, then he would know they had a whatever to drink.
Yes.
Well, that was him in the bar, his bar. It was called the Ailsa Bar.
Ailsa Bar. When they redid the bar, the hotel wanted to call it Jack's Bar or Jackie's Bar or something like that. But he didn't like the idea of...
Jack may have been too modest to have the bar named after him, but his time at one of the best-known hotels in Scotland made him a famous local figure.
Last bell for the barman, known to thousands. I think that's true, that you know, he was well known. In fact, the Glasgow Herald had an obituary for him.
That's right, yeah.
After
so they did, yeah.
He died because he was... There were lots and lots of people over the generations that had known him so well.
The hotel may have had several refits over the decades, but Jack and Eleanor can still just about remember the way to Jack's Bar, just along the corridor.
Yes.
Here it is. The Joan
So was this the size of the bar?
Yeah.
I seem to remember it being bigger.
The bar actually was where that wall is. It was behind that wall, which is now 2 different rooms.
The rooms here may have changed, but the hotel will always have a special place in Jack and Eleanor's lives.
I feel such affection for the whole place.
Yeah, yeah.
Just brings back so many memories from that high up.
We regard it as home. We kind of feel as if we are part of the history of the place.
Yeah, I feel I own it more than anybody else.
Stations have always been places of emotion and escape, and Central is no exception. Many of us come here to start precious family holidays and fun times away from normal life. But for 17-year-old Paige and her mum Michelle, their trip to London tonight is more poignant and more exciting than most.
Don't cry, I'm alright.
Paige is undergoing treatment for stage 4 cancer, but has been invited to record the song she wrote about her illness with pop star Ella Henderson. after it got 5,000 views on YouTube.
'Cause I'm not well. Please hold my hand. I'm going through hell.
I'm really excited, but I'm really nervous. My consultant Angela, we got on really well, so I've shown her a lot of my songs and she thought they were really good. I got an interview and I got to show my song off to STV News, and then I got a surprise from Ella Henderson.
Hello! Hi! How are you? I'm good. I just wanted to come on here and just let you know that I think you've got a beautiful voice and I love that you're into music, and maybe we can record a song together.
That would be amazing.
Today, Paige and Michelle are taking the sleeper train down to London for the recording tomorrow.
Saturday, we're going shopping and we've got a show booked for Saturday night as well. So we thought we'd make the most of it while we were down in London, because Paige hasn't been too well for quite a few months now. So she's been in high dependency and things, so just thought it'd be a really good break, and it's come at a good time as well.
I'm going through hell.
I've been singing my whole life, but playing guitar has only been for maybe 2 years now. And then I started writing songs when I got diagnosed to help me cope with things. And I wrote a song about how it feels to have my cancer and what we go through. And it got really good reviews on YouTube. And a lot of people were thanking me because they were able to understand what their children are going through.
I just need sleep.
Paige hasn't had it easy at all, but she just seems to keep that smile and her bubbly energy, and she just shines through every time.
Paige hasn't been able to travel since she started treatment and is almost as excited about the train as the trip.
I've never been on the sleeper before. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it kind of reminds me of the Harry Potter train, so I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping our beds are comfy, because if they're not, then I'm going to have to hear my mum snoring.
You said you weren't going to say that bit.
Oh, wow, is this it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I hope I could push you up.
Looks like the sleeper has been worth staying up for.
Wow! It's big. It's actually big for what I thought it was going to be.
Hey, put your brakes on. You okay?
This is cool. I'm going to be comfy. In the corner. I like sleeping right up at the corner, don't I, Mum?
Yeah.
Bacon roll. I love a bacon roll.
I know you.
Banging. I'll have a bacon roll at 7:45 in the morning.
Right then.
Yeah.
She's a nightmare to get up in the morning as well, to be fair. You tired?
I am tired, but I am really excited because London. We're gonna head to bed.
Yeah. Paige was diagnosed in September 2019. It was quite a big shock to us all. When they told us that she had urine sarcoma, I'd never heard it. Never heard it, and it's a bone cancer. And then to be told that she was actually stage 4, which basically just means that it's spread. But all the way through, she's just been an absolute wee fighter. And that's one of the big things with music. It was her way to try and cope with what was going on inside. So she just picked up and started writing our first song.
I can't help it. I reminisce. Wish it didn't happen. I'm only a kid.
For Paige, that was a big thing for her because it was helping other people.
And that's one of the things that she likes to do, is just help other people.
We'll get there.
Finally, it's 6:45 a.m. and they've made it to London in good time for Paige's big day ahead.
Yay! We're away!
What do you think? Look. It's all right, yeah?
Oh, wow!
More importantly, how did Paige sleep?
And action.
What are you like?
I never woke up till this morning, and my mum telling me that it's 5:45 in the morning, and that we were nearly at London, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't wake up once. I was too excited.
Yeah, you definitely were excited. Looking forward to going to the hotel and getting ready.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get ready.
Get yourself ready.
Yeah, doing my makeup, put on my wig. I'm wearing my wig today, my blonde wig. So I'm very excited to wear that and show everyone that, because no one can tell that it's a wig. Ella Henderson will be confused. She'll be like, how did you grow all that hair?
Right, let's go.
For the last 2 years, station tour guide Jackie has been creating a museum at Central.
Well, when I started here 2 years ago, it was an empty room, and I kept thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to fill it? The really good news is that I'm now thinking I could do a wee extension.
Its grand opening was delayed by the pandemic, but Jackie's labour of love is now finally ready to view. The museum will comprise of all kinds of artefacts from the station's past.
I think it's going to be something that will evolve as people come along and hear people's stories. And, oh, I've got that in my loft, I've got that in the garage. Grandpa's this or that when he worked in the railway. Almost every piece that's in the museum has a story, and that's what brings it alive.
One family has donated their railwayman father's whole collection, and today they're getting a private view of the display.
Donald Hillier worked in the railway for 45 years, but sadly passed away in 2019. And his family donated this collection here, all about signalling. And they're coming in this morning to see it for the very first time in the flesh. It's been really well looked after. It was in a small room in his house, and we actually went down and dismantled it all and managed to bring it back up again. A lot of the other pieces in the museum, it's been, you get a wee bit and then you get another wee bit, and it's almost like a jigsaw. This was a complete jigsaw for signalling.
With such a personal donation, Jackie's anxious about whether the Hillier family will like her display.
I'm a bit nervous this morning about them coming in, thinking about how lucky we are to have this collection, to view it, to see his passion, which was the railways, as well as his job. So quite a big responsibility this morning. I feel a wee bit pressure, just to make sure that I've done an OK job.
Jackie's going to collect 3 generations of the family.
Hello there.
Who've come to see Donald's treasured collection in the new museum.
Thank you so much for coming.
Amazing.
I hope you like it. Let's head off.
She's taking them down to the museum, under the station.
Come on in.
Oh, amazing.
So, seen inside Central Station, you'll have seen the clocks, you'll have seen me nagging to get them working, so they're still working. They really are quite a big, high-impact feature.
It's the moment of truth.
I'm going to bring you round now because this is the most important part, because this is the part that you've really come to see.
Will Donald's family like Jackie's display of his signalling collection?
It's amazing to see it like this, honestly.
It's so good to see it set out like that.
Looks like it's going down well.
It looks good.
Looks amazing.
Remember it all, Grandma?
Do you remember it, Grandma? Grandpa's stuff.
It's all Grandpa's stuff here, isn't it?
As kids, we would be ringing that bell.
I think your dad had it
in such a way that it was logical. So
that was my dad.
Yeah. That's real women for you.
Yep.
So we tried to follow that.
Growing up, Donald's objects were a part of all their lives.
And a wee train whistle they used to have. Yeah.
Jackie has also created a plaque in Donald's honour.
The signalling collection displayed here has been loaned to Glasgow Central Museum by the family of Donald Hillier. This is a valued addition to the museum and has helped us to acknowledge the critical work that signallers carry out daily. We're very grateful to Donald's family.
It looks like Jackie's display has touched all of the family.
Looks great.
It does. I'm just so happy it's here.
I know, it's so fitting, isn't it?
Nice.
I thought I would be quite upset, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to come in here and cry.
I'm just dead happy
I'm
to
really
see
just,
it.
yeah, I'm just buzzing. It's just, yeah, really, really happy to see it all together.
Wonder if I'd ever have thought that wee room would have been in a big museum.
In a museum.
Took your dad a long time. You know, he wouldn't have bought this as just one lot. So to be able to keep it together, I think, is important. It creates the picture of the man.
Yeah.
Open the gate.
Open the gate, let the train in.
Beyond proud, Jackie. Yeah. Beyond proud.
It means an awful lot to me.
A long time in the making, so that's a huge relief for Jackie.
I was kind of getting myself very nervous about the family coming to see this. Really just so to make sure that they were happy with it. They seem to be. They've been very complimentary, and I think they're delighted that, well, their dad's memory lives on very much so, and keeps his story going. So I'm really chuffed to bits. Aye, it's just nice. Nice thing to do.
Next time on Inside Central Station.
Hot days like this, everybody just heads down to the beach.
This morning we had about 3,000 to 4,000 people going down, which is a lot of people.
Very, very, very busy.
Very, very busy.
I must get a very.